And welcome back to the SpiffyNeedleGeeks discussing Steven Universe from the Summer Marathon. It is Brawl Fan 1 and Rushitsu Rises, and unfortunately, Ryan at this current moment in time is unable to record. He has some life.
He will never come back.
Shut up, you. You are but our guest.
Well, of course I am but a guest. I am a butt.
Yes, so...
so long time no see there, Kenchi.
Yeah,
hey, guys, I'm back. I apologize for not having done shit for my guest Let's Play, but life is hell, and I suffer.
Right. Well,
it's fine. Life's kind of been taking its toll on all of us lately, but, such is life.
In any which case, so getting right into this episode, we are on Gem Hunt, and this is definitely where the episodes start going back into more of the gem directed plot lines.
It kind of feels like returning to the old stuff, while all the impact of the shit that has happened is still there.
Yeah.
Also, Connie is fucking adorable.
Was there ever any doubt?
Well, just a reminder, Connie is fucking adorable.
She
can still carry Rose's sword without trying. What the fuck is she eating?
Well, that being said, I know Pearl has been training Connie for a while now and everything, so it's like, I'm actually kind of surprised that, Pearl agreed to bring Connie onto this gem mission. I mean, I don't know, I figured that would have come way, way later, was where she'd get a little bit more involved in that, just because how motherly Pearl is and stuff. So it's
that's just it though, because it's like we still see like kind of like behind the scenes, Pearl is still training Connie once a week. Like they're still having their weekly classes, and it's like I'm honestly not that surprised by it, because like initially, like Pearl figured this was supposed to be a simple mission. Like obviously things got a little out of hand, but and Pearl did want to once she found out that there were two monsters, she did want to bring Connie and Steven back, but they insisted. So
all right, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. For me, Steven Universe, they like to take their time on things, which is fucking great. So I don't know. I always kind of figured that it was like by the time they'd start bringing Connie along on missions, it'd probably be like a little bit later on, or at least get every gem, like get Garnet and Amethyst on board, not just Pearl and Steven. Greater strength in numbers and all. Also,
may I just ask, I really have to wonder just how lenient have Connie's parents gotten? Because we got that episode in the Nightmare Hospital, where Mrs. Maheshwaran, decides, to let Connie have a little more free space, so long as Connie at least keeps her involved. And Connie seems to be doing that, but it seems like, I don't know, it's kind of gotten to a point where you like, because it's like, letting your daughter, sleep over her male friend at her male friend's birthday party is one thing, but going on a hunt for a giant monster?
I mean, I do remember that she watched her daughter defeat two gem monsters, so it was really only a matter of time before she became okay with something that she literally saw her do without a hint of problem.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, you never know. Maybe, off screen or something. I mean, who knows? Maybe, Pearl or something has, been talking to her mom or anything, trying to be responsible and all. I mean, you don't know.
Oh, you know what? I actually kind of want to see that, the mother talks between Pearl and Mrs. Maheshwaran.
Yeah.
That would be neat. But yeah, I think it's a combination of that possible thing happening and just the fact that this really isn't that odd. It's just that now she's gotten to the point where she accepts the fact that she watched her daughter defeat two gem fusion freaks in front of her in a hospital. So going on the hunt gem monsters doesn't seem all that weird, considering to her, she's already seen them, and she knows that her daughter can handle
Well, it's not a matter of it being weird. It's a matter of does she, whether or not she thinks it's too dangerous for her.
Well, I think it's kind of been made, as I said, moot by the fact that Connie has already proven it's not too dangerous, considering she defeated the two gem monsters.
Except in this said episode, she also does prove that she isn't able to handle it just yet. She freezes.
That's not something her mom sees.
True.
That's probably a good thing, too. But regardless, it's like, it is nice to actually start seeing more of, I guess what you can call the corrupted gems or
Yeah.
something. Seeing more of like those designs and everything. Because like I said, the whole Monster of the Week structure and everything that has pretty much been abandoned since season 1. So it's like it's actually nice to be able to see some of these like monster designs again.
Yeah. It's like,
and it's especially now that we see, since we've been getting more into what different gems are, it's interesting to finally see multiple monsters of the same gem structure, but not necessarily the exact same gem, because we were just introduced to the idea that gem monsters face basically the same style of body through corruption with all the centipedals.
Yeah.
And these are two monsters that are almost identical, but they have very different colorations and slightly different horn patterns.
which
But
probably just means like they're from the same like gem family, but they're probably just different in some sort of way.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
have how people like to try to identify the gems. These two were identified from coloration as Biggs Jasper and Ocean Jasper.
I suppose. I mean, well, considering what happens later on in this season, I guess I can kind of see that. And I mean, and then again, the whole gem thing, like being in the same family, I mean, that makes sense and everything because you look at Jasper and Amethyst. They are different gemstones, but they're both quartzes.
Yep.
And they are both very similar. Like more than likely, like if Amethyst were like Jasper's size, they probably would look
very
almost
similar.
identical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, speaking of Jasper, I gotta say, I was fucking cracking up at the end of that episode when I saw Jasper just fly into the monster. Because you know what my first fucking thought was?
What?
Since the last time we saw Jasper before this was when Lapis, like, literally knocked her into the horizon, I just fucking imagined, like, that's where Jasper landed. With a punch, which is a fucking punch straight into the monster. Like I know that's not what happened. We saw like the footprints like prior, and we know that she tussled with the monster a little bit. But I just think it'd be like a really fucking funny idea. It's like, hey, thanks for the liftoff, Lapis.
Well, that being said, now this actually brings up a question. I'm trying to recall. Did they ever say how much time has passed between Alone at Sea and Gem Hunt?
No, but they really don't say a whole lot of how much time has passed between any given episode. We only know over a year has been done because Steven has had 2 birthdays.
Yeah, I'm just curious because when we last saw Jasper Alone at Sea, she was still desperate for the power from fusion and everything, and that's why she went back to Lapis. 2 episodes later, now she wants to practically she's amassing an army essentially of these corrupted gems. So it's like, how much time must have passed for her to switch plans like that?
Well, I mean, yeah, we find out later that the reason why she took the corrupted gems was to produce an army, but up to that point, those were probably the first 2 gems she started with.
Right. And by the way, can I just say I just thought it was funny, whereas like towards the end, like Jasper, like she the creatures get poofed, she grabs the gems, and like Steven's response, cell phone picture. I was like, God damn it, Steven!
Honestly,
that was not the time to be cute.
I think one thing that I really liked in this episode that was like when Connie and Steven were like huddled inside the tree trunk.
Yeah.
Was when like when they were sipping the the herbal tea, which obviously didn't taste good. I loved like their faces to it because like most cartoons like to give like these really like overreactions, like yuck, blah. Like these really like exaggerated things that you see nobody do unless they're doing it on purpose. Like the faces Connie and Steven made, they're just like these uncomfortable looking faces. Like that was like the realest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this tastes gross, but we don't have an option here.
So, I'm going to make a hazard guess here because of the fact that you wondered how long it's going to be. There were 62 episodes between Steven's 2 birthdays, so a little under a week between episodes that don't immediately follow one another would be my best guess of time, which would be long enough for Jasper to just walk across the ocean to some other place and decide, I'm going to start collecting these monsters.
Well, unless like... Well, I guess we don't really know how far Jasper went after Lapis punched her, so...
Pretty dang far.
Yeah.
But we also know that she's been traveling through the bottom of the ocean, and since she's a powerful gem, she could probably travel at a decent speed.
True enough.
Seriously, she just Sonic the Hedgehog under the ocean.
Yeah. I do like one thing I was scared of with this episode though was how it started like Steven Universe does this a lot. We all know this, where it starts off with what you would see as a typical trope, but then that trope completely gets backlash into something else. Like this, like I was so scared that like for the most part, like this would end up being an episode where, you know, Connie thinks that, you know, it does start off that way where Connie thinks that she can do it. And that, but I was afraid that she would be too stubborn to ever like admit that she couldn't do it without help. But no, like the moment she realizes that she's scared, she immediately calls for Pearl, like, which was really responsible of her, and I liked that.
Okay.
Oh well. In which case, any more thoughts?
Not really. At least not that I can think of.
Not for this episode.
All right.
It's a good episode. It's funny. It's an interesting return to form, but let's be fair here. This was not the most important episode of the entire thing.
No, but it was definitely it was the start of a small.
It was indeed the start of something big.
Yeah. So we'll continue where this started from in the next episode of Crack the Whip. We'll see you then.